This is a Getty podcast.
Let the good times roll, because today we hear from an ancient kind of dice. Welcome to If Objects Could Talk, a podcast where art and artifacts get to leave the museum vault and share their side of the story. Thanks for joining us as we bring objects into the light. What kinds of games do you like to play?
Yes!
Any favorite board games? Maybe something with dice? Kids just like you have been playing games for as long as there have been kids. In ancient times, a lot of those games were played with dice, just like many modern games. But Roman kids used a special type of die they called an astragalos, which means knucklebone, because they were made from the knuckle bones of sheep or pigs. Today's guest is a special glass astragalos, and for the last 2,000 years since he was made, this acrobatic die has been a champion of fun. Looks like he's ready to show us his best moves. Let's make some room.
Woohoo! Are you ready for this? Back handspring! Front flip! And da-da-da-da! Cartwheel! Whee! Whew! Gotta stay limber with all the twists and turns I do. Did that look cool?
No one can see you.
Oh? What?
It's a podcast.
A podcast? Oh, yeah! I forgot you can't see me. Sorry. Well, it did look cool. Can you picture it? Let me set the scene. Imagine a small, clear-ish glass object about as long as a penny. You probably have dice that are perfect cubes, but I'm more rectangular, with 2 short faces and 4 long faces. And all of my sides are unique. Of my 4 long faces, 2 are wider and 2 are slimmer. One of my wide sides curves out and the other curves in. One of my 2 skinny sides curves in too. But then my other skinny side is mostly flat. Is that description making your mind do somersaults yet? I know it's kind of strange sounding to imagine me with so many sides and all of them different. But since each of my faces is so different from the others, people didn't need to mark little dots on each one to give it a number. They just knew which shaped side meant which number. I'm a unique type of astragalos. Most are made from sheep or goat knucklebones, which makes sense because astragalos means knucklebone.
Whoa.
That's right. Kids were using bones in their games.
Ew.
But I'm extra special because I'm made of molded glass to look like knucklebones. Other prized types of knucklebones have been made from metals, marble, wood, terracotta, and even precious gems. Ooh. I'm more than just dice. There are lots of games you play with knucklebones. Like, have you ever grabbed a wastepaper basket and tried to shoot some hoops with a balled-up piece of paper? Well, next time, you can try tossing your knucklebones into the opening of a jar, like ancient Roman kids. Or, let's play marbles. But instead of seeing if you can knock your opponent's marbles out of the ring, see if you can knock out their knucklebones. And if you've got a real acrobat, such as yours truly, you can toss your knucklebones up in the air and try to catch us on the backs of your hands, like jacks. That's my favorite. I love twisting and turning in the air. Pretty soon, I'll nail the biles, like Simone. I've only been practicing for, 2,000 years. All the best games can be played with knucklebones. But we have one more skill, too. Predicting the future. I'm actually very good at predicting the future. Well, at predicting certain things. I'll show you. Can you find a 6-sided die to look at? Maybe you've got one in a Parcheesi box or a game of Yahtzee? I bet you that no matter what side you look at, I can predict the number of dots on the opposite side. Are you ready? Here goes. Are you looking at the side with 3 dots? Well, then the opposite side will have 4 dots. How about the side with 5 dots? Then the opposite side has to be 2. And that just leaves 6, and 1 is the final pair.
Wow.
Thank you. Want to know the trick? It's because the opposite sides of the dice always add up to 7. And it's the same when you play with knucklebones. Each side has a numeric value, and the opposite sides add up to 7. There is one big difference between how you play with me and modern dice, though. With me, it's not the side that's face up that matters. It's the one touching the table. Try using that rule next time things go south in Monopoly. Oh, I've competed in thousands of great games. All of them fun. But there's one in particular that I'll always remember. A real nail-biter, where everything came down to the final toss. It all started with a kid named Nicandros, who lived in the Roman Empire with his family. And I mean his whole family. Not just his mom and dad and siblings, but also his grandmother and some aunts and uncles and a whole crew of cousins. Anyway, every year in the late summer, when bees had filled their hives to the brim, honey was harvested. And each year during the honey harvest season, Nicandros' grandmother would make the most delicious pancake, drizzled in golden honey. But there was a catch. She only made one honey cake. To decide who got it, the cousins would hold an epic knucklebones tournament. Talk about going for gold. 3 years in a row, Nicandros' big bully of a cousin Straton won. He ate the honey cake in front of everyone without sharing a single bite. Nicandros was determined that this was going to be his year, so he worked on his skills all summer. But as the tournament approached, he still wasn't sure if he could beat Straton. So Nicandros asked his oldest cousin Cassandra for help. Cassandra was almost all grown up and didn't play in the cousins' tournament anymore. But back in the day, she'd been a champion. When Nicandros came to her for help, she pulled out her own very special set of lucky knucklebones for him to borrow. 4 beautiful pieces, all made of glass, including, you guessed it, me. I couldn't wait to get back in the ring. Is there anything more fun than twisting and turning and jumping in the air on the last days of summer? And at first, I was sure this was going to be a cinch. But Straton was good. Very good. Maybe even too good. Okay, let me back up for a second and explain the rules of the game. In the Cousins' tournament, the goal was to throw your 4 knucklebones so that each one landed on a different side. This was called a Venus throw. So, Nicandros and Straton both made it to the final round when Nicandros noticed something suspicious. Even a good player had some bad throws, but Straton was throwing the exact same hand over and over and over. When Nicandros pointed this out, Straton said he was just being a sore loser. It took a lot of courage, but Nicandros stood his ground. He called Cassandra over to inspect Straton's knucklebones. She looked closely and spotted it. Tiny holes drilled into the bone, with little flakes of metal inside. The added weight of the metal caused the knucklebones to land the same way every time. Straton had only been winning because Straton had been cheating! Cheating. It's a tale as old as playing. And there's nothing I hate more. I mean, I know that life isn't fair, but shouldn't games be? You'd think a guy like that would get kicked out of the tournament, but their grandmother just said, "It was only a game, and stay out of the kitchen, we're busy." Only a game. Now more than ever, I wanted to help Nicandros beat Straton. I wanted it so badly, I was starting to get really nervous. I hoped I wouldn't get a case of the twisties. For the final round of the tournament, Stratone was forced to hand over his weighted knucklebones and play with a fair set. In their first 3 throws, both Stratone and Nicandros had flipped their knucklebones 3 different ways. Then Stratone flubbed the final toss. To win, Nicandros needed to land a knucklebone on the side that curves out, the hardest side to get stable. When Nicandros picked me up, I could feel his hand shaking. Or maybe it was me, trembling. He took a deep breath. He tossed me into the air, and I twisted and turned under the open sky, and I stuck the landing like a pro! The crowd went wild. Nicandros won! The game and the honey cake. He split the cake with Cassandra, and thanks, who suggested they share with all the cousins. Victory had never tasted so sweet. You just don't get games like that anymore. Unless, maybe you want to play sometime?
I hope you enjoyed learning about Roman games and knucklebones. Join us next time when an owl flies off a coin and into the studio to speak with us. To see photographs of the astragalos and learn the rules to some Roman games, visit our website at getty.edu/podcasts. This episode was written by Claire Hupy and produced by Zoe Goldman. Laura Woodall voiced the astragalos. Theme music, mixing, and sound design by Alexandra Kalinowski. Christopher Sprinkle is executive producer. Special thanks to curators Ken LaPatten, Judith Barr, and Hana Sugioka, as well as John and Amos McHugh. Catch you next time.